I've got something super exciting for you today on OTC Fireside Chat. We've been looking into this company called Worksport Limited, and, well, it's pretty fascinating what they're doing in the clean energy space.
I've actually been diving really deep into this one. It's absolutely fascinating what they're doing with automotive accessories and clean energy solutions.
I know you've done a ton of research on this one, Jack, and I'm really curious about what you've found. There's so much happening with this company.
They're doing some incredible things with tonneau covers and solar integration. It is really exciting how they're positioning themselves in this whole clean energy transition.
I can't wait to dig into all of that. They're trading on NASDAQ under WKSP, and from what I understand, they're really trying to shake things up in the industry.
That's exactly right. Their whole approach to innovation and how they're really pushing the boundaries of what's possible in this space, it's totally game-changing.
Let's start with, what exactly does Worksport do? What's their core business all about?
They're basically revolutionizing the whole tonneau cover market, right? And they're not just making regular covers. They're creating these amazing hybrid and clean energy solutions for light trucks, and they're even branching into overlanding and consumer goods.
Could you break down what makes their tonneau covers different? What sets them apart?
Their covers are absolutely incredible. They've got these hard-folding tonneau covers that work with pretty much every major truck brand you can think of. Like, we're talking Ford, Chevy, GMC, Ram, Jeep, and Toyota and Nissan too. They're super durable. They're really engineered for the best possible user experience.
I've heard something about solar technology. That sounds really interesting.
They've developed this amazing thing called the Solar tonneau cover, and it's totally groundbreaking. Imagine having a truck cover that's actually generating power while you drive. It's got this advanced solar technology built right in, and you can use it for all sorts of things like charging electric vehicles or storing energy for when you're off the grid.
Wow, that's pretty innovative. Are they working on anything else in the clean energy space?
Absolutely. They've got this portable energy system called COR, and they're also working on this really cool non-parasitic hydrogen technology. They're really thinking about the future of clean energy in totally new ways. They're not just making accessories, they're creating complete energy solutions.
Let's dive into the numbers a bit. I saw they had some pretty interesting financial results recently.
The numbers are actually really fascinating. In Q1 of 2024, they saw this absolutely massive growth in revenue. We're talking about a 1,500% increase year over year, which brought them to about $500,000.
That is very impressive. What's driving that kind of growth?
So the really interesting thing is that it's coming from their soft tonneau covers, right? They've got this private label partnership that's really taking off. But, and this is important, their costs have also gone up quite a bit. Their cost of sales is now at about 93% of revenue, which is, and this is up from 62% in the previous year.
Seems like they're spending quite a bit on development too.
Their operating expenses went up by about $135,000 in Q1. And there's actually a really good reason for that. They're putting more money into R&D, they're hiring more production staff, they're really investing in growing the business.
What about their current financial position? How are they funding all this?
They've got about $3.5 million in cash right now, and they've been pretty active in raising capital. Like, they did this huge raise back in 2021. We're talking about $32.5 million through various offerings. They're not stopping there. They've recently filed to be able to raise up to another $30 million if they need it. It's really showing their commitment to funding their growth plans.
So, with all these investments they're making, what's the outlook looking like for them?
They're projecting revenues of like $6 to $8 million by the end of the year. That's absolutely huge when you compare it to the $1.5 million they did last year.
Wow, that's quite a jump. What's giving them that kind of confidence?
They've got several things in the pipeline that are really promising. First off, they absolutely crushed it in May with record-breaking sales, and they've just launched this new dealer webpage that's going to make it so much easier for dealers to access their products.
What about their new products? I heard something about solar covers.
Yes, this is actually one of the most exciting parts. They're getting ready to launch their solar cover and this thing called the COR Portable Energy System, like later this summer. And you know what's really interesting? Their CEO, Stephen Rossi, he's actually talking about reaching 9-figure revenues in the near term.
That seems pretty ambitious. Is that realistic?
Look, I totally get the skepticism. They're seeing this massive shift in consumer mindset towards clean energy solutions. Worksport is just perfectly positioned to capitalize on this. They've got the technology, they've got the partnerships, and, they're really building out their dealer network. So while it's definitely ambitious, I really think they've got the pieces in place to make it happen.
With all this potential upside we've been talking about, what about the risks? There's gotta be some challenges they're facing, right?
Indeed. Supply chain issues are one of their biggest headaches right now. They're dealing with these disruptions that can really impact their ability to get products out the door.
What about competition? Are there other companies doing similar stuff?
The tonneau cover market is actually pretty crowded. When it comes to their clean energy solutions, they're not exactly alone in that space either. They really need to make sure their products stand out and get accepted by consumers.
How are they handling all these challenges financially?
They're basically running on funds from public and private offerings right now. They've raised quite a bit of money, like they got $32.5 million back in 2021. They've recently raised more through these registered direct offerings.
Is that going to be enough for them?
They've been pretty upfront about this. They might need more capital down the line. With the current market conditions, rising interest rates, and all that volatility, getting that funding might not be super easy. They're working on becoming cash flow positive, which would really help with their financing needs.
Are there any other risks we should be aware of?
They're really dependent on third-party distributors and retailers to get their products out there. If these partners don't fully embrace their products or there are delays, that could definitely impact their growth plans.
After everything we've discussed today about Worksport, what's your final take on their position in the market?
I think they're actually really well positioned in this whole clean energy transition thing. They've got this super interesting mix of traditional automotive products and these innovative clean energy solutions. What really excites me is how they're bringing these two worlds together with products like their Solus solar cover.
Yeah, that does sound pretty unique. Do you think they can actually hit those revenue targets they're talking about?
Getting to those nine-figure revenues they're talking about, it's definitely ambitious. They've got these solid fundamentals in place. They've got their core tonneau cover business, and they're building on that with these new clean energy products.
Would you say they're worth keeping an eye on?
Absolutely. Look, they're definitely facing some challenges. I really think they've got something special here. The way they're positioning themselves in both the automotive accessories and clean energy markets, it's pretty smart. If they can execute on their plans, I think they could be a really interesting player in this whole clean energy transition story.
Well, that's all we've got time for today on OTC Fireside Chat. Thanks for diving into this one with me, Jack.
Thanks, Jill. This was a good one. Really enjoyed breaking it all down.